What it do? Snackers, snackettes, and snack X's. Your boy Gage is here with the homie Jokes.
Yo, yo.
You are now tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today,
Today,
today, Jokes, is an exciting Tuesday. We are a week and a day removed from Spider-Man. We got a Doomsday trailer, which we have to talk about, like a real trailer. Like,
yeah.
it's weird. It feels like a teaser. We'll get into that. But like, we got a trailer. We're gonna talk about it. We're not gonna watch it here. We are gonna talk about it, which is gonna be important. We're gonna talk about Bethesda. In the aftermath of all of what's been going on with Xbox, Bethesda did like just a straight up data drop. Here's everything that's going on. Here's all the stuff we're working on. Y'all can have it. Leave us alone. We're gonna talk about Marvel moving to Cali and some of the rumors that have kind of popped up around that, and then we're going to discuss the top 5 Spider-Man team ups. Right. It's gonna get real, but before we do any of that, Jokes has a job to do. Probably done already. Might not be. I implore you, go check out the website. We've had to make some updates and some changes and so forth. So please go over there and check out the website. It'll help you stay in tune with what's going on if you're not already tuned in, especially specifically to our social medias, like our Instagram, our YouTube, and so forth. Those are also great places to see what's happening, catch up on some content. But the best way to do that is in Patreon. If you support us on Patreon, that helps keep the lights on, if you will. Helps us take care of some of the moving and shaking we have to do. And on that note, it's time for the 619 Patreon Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kerbert Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Forever enshrined in our Hall of Fame, those names, we will never change them. They will be what they are. You can come in at a high tier, but that's a special list of folks. So that one's never changing. Jokes. It might be a long show. We're gonna try to but it might be a long show. So we have to get into hashtag WHHW, which is what had happened was, which of course is last week's news over there somewhere. Hook me up.
Number one.
The elephant in the room is the Avengers Doomsday trailer. Now, as I stated, we're not gonna watch it here. But I will say, for anyone who hasn't seen it and doesn't want to be spoiled, we are going to discuss this joint. Like, there will be spoilers for things that may or may not be in a Marvel movie because they be lying in their trailers. Okay? They be lying in their trailers. So I want you to know we take this thing with a grain of salt. What's up, Candace? It's so necessary. What up, Kate? Jokes.
What up, Z?
Z all the way from Korea. Jokes. How many views do you reckon the Doomsday trailer has at the moment? Should I look?
It's probably like 50 million. I think when I possibly heard last somewhere in the realm.
I want to say it was at like 35 the last time I looked, but the things move so quickly. They do. I just, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I should go back and double check it. Let's see what happens. And I want to say, like, I'm only counting I only consider the real trailer the one that like Disney posts. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Or Marvel posts directly. Like we don't count the IGN joint and all that.
Yeah.
41.
Mhm.
41 million on Marvel's page specifically. That's a lot. That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Um, I need to talk about the impact I think that this trailer is having. One,
Mhm.
I think this is actually making people more excited for Spider-Man, which is like maybe really smart because we don't have anything else happening between those two movies.
Mhm.
So, for all intents and purposes, this Spider-Man movie coming out next week is leading directly into Doomsday for like, and Doomsday is, according to the directors, Doomsday is a direct sequel to Endgame.
Which is crazy.
Is that crazy?
I guess to say, I mean, just with having, so many other movies, but it makes sense though, an Avengers movie to Avengers movie. But normally there's some build up in things, but obviously with the multiverse and some time elements that are still in play, it honestly it still makes sense. So
yeah, I just think they're trying to make it easy for people who like haven't really been staying in tune with everything that's been happening in the MCU since that movie. Like I think the majority of people came out of that, they probably saw Shang-Chi and maybe didn't do much else after that. Speaking of Shang-Chi, listen. All right, look. This like the trailer opens with on Xavier's School of the Gifted. All right, lay it out. You know what I mean? Like, and we knew, right? Because the little like the 4 teasers that they had, X-Men was clearly one of them. So like, we knew. But to me, that's like we're going back to get the real deal. We're gonna go. This is full circle for Kevin Feige. Like he has to be so excited about this, which makes me feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? Because he basically started on X-Men as an executive producer. So like,
hey, it's so dope to be able to like, I get to bring back finally, that project that I did way back when, and now really intertwined it into the grand scheme of things. Like it has to be a good feeling.
Yeah, look, there are things that are happening in this trip. Again, like everything with a grain of salt because Marvel reserves the right to change whatever they want for real.
I love it
in these trailers, right? So like all the speculation, all the rumors, all the stuff that's happening, since this dropped is kind of like it's cool, but you don't really know. What I will say is Gambit versus Shang-Chi, I'm with it. I'm with it. Okay? Like I'm here for that wholeheartedly. Jokes I need to know. Is Spider-Man in this movie?
I think he's in this movie, and I feel like they're doing the
Has
Civil War thing. And like, listen, I don't know what exactly it is. Like, there's no way that Spider-Man, even if it is, he's not like necessarily a major player in obviously Thor, Doctor Doom, some of the others. Like, I get it, but if something happens on the street, maybe something out of the blue, and Spidey got to tell somebody. They don't know, obviously, don't know Peter Parker, but Spidey got to tell somebody like, "Hey, listen, I don't quite think I should be dealing with."
They might know him at the end of Brand New Day. Like you don't know.
Don't know. We'll know next week.
Yeah, we will. Like it's weird, bro, to like have a trailer make you excited for the after credits of a movie that's not out yet. Like right now, I'm like, what are the because again, like all rumors point to Sadie Sink playing Jean Grey. Right? And then using this movie to introduce mutants into the mainline MCU, if you will. Which look, She is slated to be in Secret War.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot recall whether she's slated to be in Doomsday. She's slated to be in Secret War, so she has to be important enough to, you know what I mean, to come over to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she's a Jean Grey, then it means that they are going the route of introducing brand new, younger versions
Mm-hmm.
of X-Men that we know. Which obviously there's a Young Avengers tinge in there somewhere, because like we don't really see much of it in this, but clearly that's part of what this is about, right? This
Mm-hmm.
is Doctor Doom, Franklin Richards, who we saw, as the baby at the end of Fantastic Four. Obviously, Scott Lang's daughter is around.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Kamala Khan was going around and recruiting.
Recruiting.
So
Yep.
we know Kate Bishop is out there. We know that these characters exist in the MCU. So they have to come around and step up at some point, and this would be the place where that's most likely to happen, right? Um, so if that's the case, like we're looking at the original X-Men, there is no Femke Jameson. Like she's
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be coming back. They've said she's not in the movie. Again, could they be lying? Sure. But like
Absolutely.
we're dealing with a Cyclops who is still dealing with the idea of her not being here. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of like the last Wolverine movie, he was back at the beginning of all of this,
Yep.
and she was there.
She was
Like
there.
that's how it ended.
All of them, they were all
So
there.
yeah, so like this old man Cyclops can't be with this young girl Jean Grey. That's not
Well, that's not right.
that's not that's not a thing. So like if she's Jean Grey, right, then clearly like we are
Yeah.
introducing a new run. And for me, again, I don't really want the X-Men
The
that we've
X-Men.
had already. Like there's just so many other characters out there that like
Yeah.
if she happens to be Jean Grey, it kind of is exciting to me just for the fact that it feels like another opportunity for us to reboot. And it feels like they're not leaning into, at least not the traditional X-Men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The way it was. For all we know, we could be leaning into like a Spider-Man and the X-Men, which is a possibility. But Thor narrating the portion of this where he's telling them like,
Hey, dog.
I've dealt with stuff way I've been with warriors way better than y'all. Who got wiped out by these, you know what I mean? Like
that insult of doing that and telling the truth all at the same time. And listen,
facts.
I ain't gonna lie, when that camera hit the pan out to show all of them in the room, I was like, damn, Thor like the strongest one really in the room right now. That's like he the one that's gonna have to be out here. Like,
and then they make it very clear when he brings the Stormbringer down, you know what I mean? Stormbreaker down, and my man basically catches that joint with his fingertips, like maybe you don't get that thing out of here, bro. Dr. Doom is I don't know how you top Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
For real, as a villain. Like I don't know where else you go, technically, right? Like this is the end game for real. Like this is like, Dr. Doom is going to pull all the incursions together, create one world. Like that's what Secret Wars is. So like clearly that's gonna happen. Do we get a Miles Morales in this?
I don't think we'll see it in Doomsday. I feel like if Miles shows up, it would be Secret Wars. I feel like if we go the route of, the incursions, like the Earths colliding and all of that, I feel like that would be the perfect, whether we do like, Battle World, I feel like that's where we'll see Miles. Not to say that the incursion, let's say they do go that route. The incursion happens at the end of the movie, and maybe we get, that brief glimpse into battle, like a Battle World setup or something like that. Maybe we then see Miles come out at the end, him, and like say maybe this is where Peter Parker does come into play, the two of them coming at each other. Maybe that's how.
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. For Miles to show up, Tom probably has to go away. I'm just gonna keep it. I got it. Like In the Miles universe, Peter Parker Spider-Man dies, and Miles picks up the mantle, and we know that Miles Morales exists in the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. We know he does. Like, he's already dealt with his uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does. So that'll be interesting. We'll have to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little concerned. I'm a tad concerned. Anyway, look, I highly encourage you all, if you have not watched the Doomsday trailer,
go watch the trailer.
Go watch the trailer. I had some people say that they were like disappointed. They were more excited by the Spider-Man trailers, which I think is cool.
It's cool.
But this joint gave me goosebumps.
Dog,
at the very end.
The
for
music.
2 reasons.
Dog.
The music.
The music. Even though we've heard the Avengers theme in many different forms, it doesn't matter. Those last couple of notes, when you string them together, it's like, like, oh, it's the Avengers. Like, the team up is here. Somebody about to get bodied. Like,
here's the thing about it, dog. They've already told you what's gonna happen. They're gonna lose. Like, there's no.
I'm sorry, they're gonna get their asses handed too.
Yeah, they're gonna lose, dog. So, like, I just want everybody to understand they're walking into Doomsday for it to be Infinity War. Like, this is
Infinity War all over.
Yeah, it's gonna be you. People ain't gonna make it, and you just need to be prepared for that.
They don't make it, they probably ain't coming back. Like, getting snapped away, and in this versus this, oh no, there's people not making it out of this one.
This is it. Like, I just want to make it very clear. But they're not gonna win this joint. And so, like, that feel good Avengers music that plays when you get the passing of Mjolnir, Steve is back, and you know it's gotta be that Steve, because that Steve has that ability.
He's worthy, but listen, I feel some type of way. I feel like the swerve is gonna come from Steve Rogers. I feel like the swerve is gonna come from him.
What are you talking about?
Like, even though he's worthy, like, I don't know, Hydra Steve or something. Like,
no,
I don't think this is our cap.
Nah, that would be too. It would be too convoluted to do that in this, with all of what's going on with, like, the incursions and the time travel and like Loki and the TVA and all that. Like, that's now, could they show like a variant and just like have something pop up? Like I could see, there being something, Hydra. But like I could see them maybe doing that, but yeah, like, they can't go down that path. It's already so complicated that they not that the Kang thing couldn't have worked. There's a world, like, there is another universe.
See?
Correct. Nah, I understand that. And he looks pretty evil, but that's not. I just don't look. It's totally possible, right? And I said, no. It's totally possible, because this is a Steve who believes he's doing the right thing. Hail Hydra. However, and it is Nomad. This is like Nomad Steve. Yeah. It's not. He had long hair. He was dressed in black, like, whatever. But that's the other part that doesn't make it feel right to me, because it's just like, nah. It's also a little late to go back to Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
However,
hey, listen, Hydrant.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, we haven't seen Hydra since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., bro. Like.
Hey, listen,
Agents been
working it.
I
want Coulson to show up. He's got to show up.
Coulson's in this movie. If Coulson shows up in this movie, I'm gonna lose
10.
it.
It's a 10. Coulson already makes the movie a 10. Ain't nothing.
Stamp it, bro. It's a 10. Coulson shows up, I'm in, bro. Is Nick Fury in this movie?
He got to show up.
Are there scrolls in this movie? Hey, dog, what is happening in this movie, dog? Like,
I think the scrolls thing has just been thrown out. Like, I feel like,
that's what I'm saying. There's like
I,
to even go back to the like. Look, could they do a callback? Because the Russos are very good at that kind of stuff.
that stuff back.
So could they do a callback? Sure.
Either that or this could be Skrull Steve. But he's worthy, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm
You know
about
what?
it.
I already got my tickets for December. So
Got my tickets.
And you know what I'm saying? We're good to go.
I'm waiting for that double feature. Waiting for that double feature ticket to go up next.
No, not doing that. Triple feature.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take a little bit of a break from the Marvel stuff. We'll come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about Bethesda doing like just a straight up data drop. And I'm gonna be real. I don't know if I've ever quite seen it done like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in the aftermath of all of what's happening with Xbox and the layoffs and the like and specifically right here in our backyard, the folks at Bethesda, you know, having a walkout and a picket line, you know, for the union, just really needing and trying to make sure they bring some light and make sure that people are taken care of the way they're supposed to be, you know, within the union in the video game industry is an important thing. And so, you know, people have been, I feel like, rightfully so, concerned about what it means when people are being let go from some of their most beloved studios with some of the most beloved franchises and so forth, right? So let's just kind of run down some of what they said. That's cool.
Good.
The first thing they just did like a post that was like you can scroll through it and kind of see everything. I mean, they did like anyway. More Starfield content incoming, DLC for Starfield, which again I think just is a way to kind of put people at ease. At like, look, we haven't given up on it. They've been continually updating it, continuing to add stuff to it. They do have a higher player base. There were a lot of complaints about Starfield and just kind of how old the engine is and things being kind of janky. And they've done a lot of work to kind of stay up on it. And I think that there is maybe deep down inside a version of a success story in Starfield that maybe doesn't quite live up to where Fallout 76 is, but is similar to Fallout 76 and them kind of maintaining and staying on that trajectory and just continuing to iterate on it and make it better for people as things go on. So that was cool. They announced remasters for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Now, have you played either of those?
I feel like I've played 3, but definitely it would have been like played it a couple of times and then never went back for it. Definitely New Vegas was kind of the same way too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I don't know why you would have played New Vegas if you didn't play 3, but they are some of the favorite games Bethesda has ever done. New Vegas being one that Obsidian did. And it was weird. Like it seemed like there maybe was some weird kind of bad blood about that. Like I don't know. I think that New Vegas was maybe received better than Fallout 3 was initially, and I think that there was like a little bit of animosity in that space. But I can't tell what we're getting anymore when they say remaster versus a remake versus whatever. Does that mean it's getting a full Resident Evil remake kind of thing, Final Fantasy remake, or is it just kind of up-res and some new quality of life stuff? You know what I mean? So that we'll have to really look into and see what that's going to be. But I think that people will be happy with it, and I can almost guarantee you it's going to sell extremely well.
Oh, 100%.
Which I think is a smart thing to do, to put money on the table to be able to do other things with, which, unfortunately is a thing that I think a lot of developers have a need to do these days. A new Fallout game is coming from them in partnership with Obsidian. That's a very exciting announcement. I think that they had kind of said that in light of the people being let go and so forth, that they were going to be focusing on like their main franchises, and Fallout being one of those franchises. And I think for years now, ever since Microsoft purchased Obsidian and also now had ownership over Fallout, people have been saying, hey man, why don't you just have Obsidian make another Fallout, right? Since Bethesda seems to be too busy doing Starfield and other stuff to do it, why don't we just make that happen? And so that's what is apparently happening. It's hard for me to get excited about it until I see it. But for people who loved New Vegas to now be in a space where, they're getting another Fallout, I think it's cool. There's a new Fallout 76 update called Raven Rock. Not my space, not my speed. I went there once. I ain't going back. I'm good. But for the folks that love it, cool. You know what I'm saying? I get it. And then they made it clear that Elder Scrolls 6 is their main focus right now. That they are hard at work with the majority of their team working on the sequel to Skyrim. I don't know that they'll ever be able to top Skyrim.
Yeah, that's gonna be a major one.
Did you play through it?
I've never beat it. I've gone and played Skyrim numerous times, but it just didn't keep me. Like, I enjoyed it.
How many times did you buy it?
Once.
Okay.
Because I didn't. So the original release, and then when they added it to Game Pass, I downloaded it. But otherwise, I didn't buy it because it really wasn't my bag. So I didn't buy it over and over again. Like Final Fantasy X. That's the game that I bought over every single time that show came out.
Sure. On every platform?
Every platform except for the Switch.
Just about. Well, you kind of got to do that, don't you now? I mean,
if I'm going to replay it again, I'm just going to replay it again on the box.
I'm just saying, but the box isn't portable.
I don't need it on Switch.
But everything's an Xbox. Anyway, so I hope that Bethesda doing that kind of puts people at ease. I hope that what people are saying on the picket lines, they are taking seriously and doing what they can to take care of people. I really think that kind of stuff is important. I think that the idea of this whole reset to Xbox is important. And look, if they play their cards right, the way that Sony and PlayStation have been putting their foot in their mouth for the last 22 days or whatever, they can't make a single post, bro, without people being like, I'm not buying it if it's not physical. I'm not doing it if it ain't physical. Like, there are indie developers who, like, they got like a $12 game, and they're like, people are just bombarding them with like, no physical, no buy. And it's just like, bro, we can't afford to do a physical. We would love to do a physical release, but we got to actually get the digital joint to sell before we can afford to do that. You know what I'm saying? Stay with me, Joe. Is everything all right? You good?
Yeah, no, I got afraid for a second because when we was looking, let's just say my Avengers ticket looks like it's missing. We ain't go into that right now.
Hey, bro. Ain't nothing you do about it right now. You know what I'm saying? You at work.
Flip the desk.
Actually, that's content. By all means, let me just sit back and let you do that. You go ahead and you go ahead and do that, buddy.
Nah, computer's up here. I can't do that.
It's worth it. It's your Avengers ticket. Hook me up.
Cool. That's all I needed to know.
Number 3.
I think it's a sad day in comics because Marvel has decided that they're moving from New York to California.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this I don't jokes. Almost all of the important things that happen in the Marvel universe happen in New York, sir.
Yeah.
This feels blasphemous. Like, do you understand? Like, it feels blasphemous that they would even consider like going to the West Coast.
I guess, is this what it takes to get the West Coast Avengers, that Marvel has to move the whole entire headquarters over there just to make the story?
Nah, I mean, look, the reality of it is, as to some extent unnecessary as it probably seems, this just puts them closer to, they're moving to Burbank specifically, and that just puts
Mm-hmm.
them closer to like Disney Studios, Marvel
Makes
Studios,
sense.
to, it puts them closer to that stuff. And look, there's been a lot of rumors that spun up around this, and they're not rumors that haven't been, come around before, but rumors about Marvel going all digital with their comics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, bro, that's not a
That's
thing,
not happening.
bro. It's not a thing. Well, I wouldn't say it's not happening. It's not happening now. It could happen. Like it certainly could happen. Um, I would say that the the paperback comic book industry, comic book shops are one of, if not the best marketing pushes that they have. It is in a lot of ways an important test bed for ideas that may become movies or TV shows. They are getting those stories from those spaces. And make no mistake, some of the best TV shows in the last 20 years
Mm-hmm.
have come out of comics, specifically out of more or less indie or kind of obscure comics,
Mm-hmm.
like The Walking Dead, like Invincible, like they're coming out of that space. For Marvel to remove themselves from that space
Mm-hmm.
would be disastrous for them, because that test bed is what's igniting a lot of the things that are actually making, as a company, Marvel
Mm-hmm.
money. Like, Marvel's certainly not making the majority of their money in comic books anymore. They
Right.
make their money in movies and TV shows and Disney, um that's where the majority of their paychecks come from. But testing how audiences react to something
Mm-hmm.
in shops, in physical books, is, I think, the kind of thing, like, you can do it digitally. You can do it digitally. But the digital marketplace tells you that people are willing to not go anywhere and
Mm-hmm.
read a thing or try a thing or look at a thing. And even if you have enough data to tell you, they're reading the whole book, like they're going through all the pages, or they're
Mm-hmm.
spending this much time in there, so they actually read it, or whatever it is. It doesn't tell you that people are willing to get up and go somewhere to get a thing. Get up and go somewhere to experience a thing. And when you have that kind of information, you might just have the kind of thing that people are willing to get up and go to the theater to see. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That people will be excited enough about, that when they get off work, the first thing I'm doing when I come home is I'm turning on the TV and I'm turning on Disney Plus so I can catch the next episode of X-Men 97, or you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, whatever it is. Like, you can't measure it the same way anywhere else. So physical is important, you know what I mean, in that space. But what I think this really means is that slowly but surely, we've seen more and more that they have tied or tried tying the comics and the movies and TV shows into one thing. And I think this is going to allow them to oversee and do more of that together. Which is probably smart. It probably gives them more opportunity, more space to do that. I think your earbuds are not, because I can hear the whole room. Like I can hear the raindrops in the back of the room. So I just want you. I don't think that they're specifically on. I can hear you fine, but I can hear everything. So I'm just letting you know.
That's the AirPods.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, look, I kind of shoulder shrugs. Like I'm not gonna pretend I'm not upset about it. I don't know why I'm upset about it though. It just feels wrong. Jokes, what, like, that's their home.
Yeah, it's like after you've been there for so long, it just seems like, oh, they're not going to move it. Like, but so it, yes, logistically, it makes sense for them to move everything West Coast, and so it's kind of all tight knit. It's all there. Cool, I get it. But then to me, it's like I don't know if it'll necessarily be all in the same building or things like that. I doubt there's going to be issues with certain positions or anything like that. I could be wrong. Where it's like when you bring something like that over there, and it's just like, hey, since you guys are on this side now, we can probably have ABC report to such and such person instead of that person, which eliminates a position or something like that. Which I could see like some things like that possibly happening. But after being, in New York now for what, 60 years, something
Much
like that, probably
that. Sure.
It's just wild to see that move. So
yeah, I mean, look, a lot of things are shifting. Look, there's the whole WB merger thing is on pause at the moment because they're getting sued by a bunch of states, and so a judge like blocked that, put it on pause for a while. There are new rumors that Sony is going to go ahead and sell Spider-Man back to Disney. I think if that's a thing, it won't be a thing that happens until after they recoup everything they can recoup from this movie. But based on what I've seen, look, I could see it happening. It's one of those things where, like, if you're Sony, like, why would you ever let go of such a cash cow, right? Like, it really is. But I think that Marvel is in a position to tighten the strings so much in such a way, and I also think Sony's in some trouble financially that people don't realize is a thing. And for a long time, PlayStation has been where they've been able to rely on bringing money in so that they could foot all the other stuff that they have. Not that they don't have tons of money coming in Sony Music and so forth, but you got to remember that, like, physical music, not the same as it was. They own publishing and all that kind of stuff, but a lot's changed, right? If they were to sell Spider-Man back to Marvel, the licensing back to Marvel, it would give them a few $1 billion in lump sum right now, like up front, as opposed to them making that money over numbers of years as they spend a lot of money to make movies and then have to recoup that on the back end and those kinds of things, right? So I could see it. I could absolutely see it happening. But if it does, I don't think it's something that happens until like next year, sometime. You know what I mean? I would wager they get through this movie and the next Spider-Verse before they are truthfully ready to pull the trigger on that and go, all right,
you can have them back.
I mean, look, not that Sony doesn't make a lot of money, right? They do, but they don't. They really only make that good money on those movies, and that's it. Truthfully, right? Like there isn't like the kind of money that Marvel makes on all of the
Yeah.
marketing and all the paraphernalia that they sell and like the TV shows that they have, the Spider-Man and Friends and the little like all of that kind of
Mm.
stuff. Like Sony's not getting any of that.
Nah, and
You know what I
Sony
mean? Like
tried to build, you know, like the spider, like their own like Spider Verse thing, and obviously that did not go the way that they was hoping. Like obviously, out of besides
they've
Spider Man,
lost so much money
yeah,
on that.
besides Spider Man and Spider Verse, those were the only two successful things. Morbius in the
Trash.
trash, Craven in the trash.
Trash.
Like
Madam
Venom, as much as Madam Web, like in the trash. Venom was the
Super
only
trash.
thing that did them
Uh-huh.
numbers. Obviously not Spider-Man numbers, and that warranted getting 3 movies. But
Sure.
yeah, but nothing.
But now that that's possibly coming over, hey, bro, if I don't see Venom in this movie, like they gotta do something. Like, listen, let me just make it clear. It won't be now. It can't happen until it needs to happen in Secret War. Like it has to happen in Secret War, because otherwise they're like super jumping the gun.
Yeah,
but we gotta get close. Like there's gotta be
the tease, like whether it's Tom Hardy left part of his symbiote in the MCU, like that still hasn't been revisited, or if they're going to do something new, I don't know.
Hey, bro, what if they just? Listen, can I just let me move the train tracks for a minute. I need to say.
You got to derail this.
Yeah, I need to say something that I don't think I've said publicly at all. The Tom Holland films. I need to make it very clear. I detest Flash. I hate Flash. I hate that dude. I cannot stand that guy. And here's the thing. You're supposed to hate Flash, but like I hate this Flash in particular. Like
yeah.
But if they sent him to the military and they made him Agent Venom, if he ended up with the Venom joint, I'll also hate it. They can't fix it, dog. I don't like Slim. Like there are changes that they made to the universe that I'm cool with. Love Ned, love MJ, not being Mary Jane, the fact that there is no Mary. Like I'm so good with all of that stuff.
Flash though,
hey, get him out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Let the incursion happen, and maybe, hey, listen, maybe we lose that Flash and we get another Flash.
I don't like that dude, yeah. Now that's off my chest. We put the train back on the tracks. Let's wrap this up, Jokes. That's it for what happened was. Glad y'all hooked up and stayed with us for a little while. Now we got to get into a little something different. Still Spider-Man related, cause it's Spider-Man month. I don't care what y'all say. It's Spider-Man month. We got to talk about what I think are the top 5 Spider-Man team ups. Now, Jokes. I'm sure you have a favorite. Feel free to chime in as I go through these to let you know. To let me know. Let everybody know if you feel something special. But these are team ups that I think are important and or crucial to Spider-Man as a character. There is something about it doesn't really matter whose book it is in Marvel. It doesn't really matter what the storyline is. When/if Spider-Man shows up, the book is immediately better. Like, and the characters immediately feel better. They're like, if Spider-Man shows up, I don't know, we just know things are gonna work out. Like, that's how it is. Like, that's like a real thing in Marvel Comics. So let's start here. Spider-Man and Daredevil. This is a classic and smart team up. These are two characters who technically don't need to be able to see you to know what you're up to, to know that something's coming. They're like, Spider-Man's not a ninja.
Mm-hmm.
He does have his own version of martial arts. I don't know if you're aware of this. There is a spider food. It's a real thing. Like, you can look it up yourself. There is a thing, but can you just imagine if like Daredevil trained Spider-Man to have the have the hands of the hand, technically, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be out of control. These two together, though, just kind of like at night on rooftops doing what they do. It's just cool, and it makes sense. They both have a serious main villain in Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect for them to team up. All right, moving on. Let's get this out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man and Wolverine. Now, Wolverine is, dare I say, the most popular and possibly the most important character in Marvel Comics that isn't Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. There
are people who would argue it, and it would be worth hearing their arguments, but they're probably wrong. Wolverine's popularity is high enough that he overshadows the entire X-Men. Like a full team of people with incredible powers, and people just like Wolverine. Like, that's like, there's something about Wolverine. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man and Wolverine together are literally like opposite sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm. Like, they both want to get the job done. They both care deeply and immensely about the people around them. They're super important to them. They just take care of things very, very differently. And they almost can't be on the same team without fighting, which is also,
I feel like that's Wolverine classic. With anybody. Just about.
To some extent, but like, but Spider-Man is like, you can't deal with him. Like Wolverine is usually, like, if you think about it, Wolverine's usually like saying things to people or saying stuff under his breath that's making other people mad at him. Spider-Man does that better than anybody else, except for maybe the Human Torch. Johnny Storm might be better at it. Better's not the right word. He's good at pulling certain people. Like, Spider-Man can get under anybody's skin. Johnny's just really good at getting under, like, rock skin, the Thing's skin. Okay. Let's talk about the Future Foundation.
Future Foundation.
This is an important team up. One, Spider-Man has been an honorary member of the Fantastic Four, like in a fifth member capacity for a very long time, down to like him wearing Johnny's outfit with the lunch bag over
bag on his head.
Yeah. As you can see with the four of them here, there is no Johnny, right? But anytime Spider-Man gets a full-on new suit, it's serious. And we'll get into, like, look for next week for Spider-Man's, like, best comic suits, because that's a long list, so we got to figure that out. But just know that this suit will be in that list. Look, the Fantastic Four, to me, needed a refresh. I hate their outfits. They're not... They're just old. Like, I don't know. They're so basic. And I loved this refresh. And the fact that Spider-Man got a whole new outfit that just completely did away with the normal red, black, blue, white was dope. So, Future Foundation. Spider-Man and the X-Men. Can we talk about Spider-Man actually being the leader of the X-Men? Leading the X-Men. Not being a mutant and leading the mutants. This is a thing that, like, for this was the first time for me personally that it really felt like they allowed Peter Parker to kind of grow up.
Mm-hmm.
He'd been through all kinds of things, like the dating life with Mary Jane and the getting married and all that kind of, like, he'd been dealing with grown up stuff for a long time. But Spider-Man, for whatever reason, still always kind of gets boxed into being like the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
The friendly neighborhood, the kind of kid that doesn't really handle the bigger stuff or doesn't necessarily take on, quote unquote, like the bigger things. And I think he just is perpetually stuck in that, like, he's a teenager, he's a kid, he's kind of, whatever. And I think that putting him in this light where he's leading a team like this, you can't be in this position without being a Wolverine, a Storm, a Cyclops, or a Professor X, even a Magneto, right? The kind of adulthood that, like, those characters exude and have is one that Spider-Man never really had, even though he had adult problems. It still always felt like he was still coming into his adulthood and still dealing with the transition from teenager or a young college person into adulthood. And putting him at the helm of the X-Men was a big deal. So it's not your traditional X-Men. Obviously, you can see these were newer, younger X-Men. Again, there are a lot of mutants, plenty of characters for the MCU to, you know what I mean, to pull from. So I like this because Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man is a linchpin for what is happening, bringing in the X-Men and having them come full circle back into the MCU. And so the fact that Spider-Man is tied into that and maybe is even tied into Jean Grey in this, like, leads me to, like, have hope that they are not going to stick us with the same old characters they keep throwing at us every time they do X-Men. And then I wanna say, for number one, this is the greatest and most important team up possibly of all time, but certainly for Spider-Man. Jokes.
Amazing friends.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Let me tell you about Peter Parker and Bobby Drake. Okay? The best of buds. Wisecracking, cutting on each other the whole time. Starfire, listen, I mean, Firestorm, she's important. I don't want you to think that Firestorm isn't important. She is, but only really because she was created for the show. Because they weren't allowed to use the Human Torch. Can you imagine if it had been the three of them?
The three of them, like, dog, they wouldn't get no work done. Like, they're just gonna be cracking wisecracks the whole entire time.
Oh, bro. Aunt May was already having a hard enough time.
Oh, Aunt May would have.
Bro, listen, let me explain. 1966 animated Spider-Man. Incredible.
Damn, this was 66?
No, not this. This is 80s.
Oh, I was about to say, hold up.
No. Like, this is 80s, okay?
Yeah, okay. I was about to say.
This is 80 to 83, give or take, right? But the 66 Spider-Man TV show is definitely part of what made Spider-Man as popular as he was, and part of why he continues to be. That is where the Spider-Man theme song comes from. That I would argue the only other theme song for a superhero that comes close to that is Batman. And that is literally just na 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 and the word Batman. Like, there's no other lyrics to that. Like, there's no, the Spider-Man joint has lyrics, you know what I mean? So it's a little, but they're both up there. This show, meteoric.
Yeah, I got the reruns of it during the Boomerang days. Like, coming home from school and being able to watch it. Like, it was some good stuff.
I just want to make it clear. It wasn't. The show's terrible. I love every minute.
Well, obviously, probably the difference was, like, I'm much younger watching it at the time. Like, it was way
Right. I was young watching it at the time. I love the show. It's not great. Okay. They do some stupid things.
It's
They
better
do
than
a lot
Thing
of stuff
Ring
that
Do
doesn't
Your
really make
Thing.
sense. But listen, they introduce so many other characters in this show. Characters from the X-Men, Sunspot, like there's so many other characters that show up in this show. And truthfully, it was the only thing that could rival Super Friends, which was essentially Justice League. You know what I mean? At the time. Like, that was it. You put the three of them together, they don't even belong together, but they're there together. This is the most important team up. This is the joint that really introduced Spider-Man to, I'm going to say, the most people. And put him so much more front and center. And from that joint on, it's almost like he never left. Like, it just continues to go up from there. So that's that's it. Like, Firestar is like, she is Spider-Woman. Like, her mask, she looks like Spider-Woman. Like, so they did all of that too. Like, there's a whole story. It's got its own lore. It's its own thing. Why is Bobby from the X-Men not being an X-Man? You know what I mean? Like, in that joint, Cuddy said, it introduced me. Love that cartoon. As you should. Because they were putting in work back then. And I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring for that Spider-Man possibly being that voice actor being the real Spider-Man. Like, that's it.
Not mad at that.
It might be the one. If there wasn't that show, bro, you never get X-Men. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, that joint is the linchpin. It does all that. There's no X-Men 97 if that show doesn't do well. It's like that show, like, they did it with Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, but then there was also one that was like just Spider-Man. You don't get the Spider-Man TV show, which allowed them to get the X-Men TV show, which, like, that's the joint right there. This is the greatest team up. Just three people. That's all you need. Fire, Ice, and a Spider, bro. You hear me? Fire, Ice, and a Spider. There are no honorable mentions for that. Technically, if you put Spider-Man on any team, it's a wrap. It doesn't really matter.
And like, one thing, like, there's one thing about, the 90s Spider-Man series that I didn't see happen with some of the other shows. Specifically, he got all of those team ups, some of the ones like you just said, and more within the 90s show. You didn't see that happen. You did not see that happen. Like, when X-Men was on, the X-Men were always just straight, all the X-Men, the different X teams, that's it. Spider-Man had had Iron Man in that zone, he had Captain America in there, the Fantastic Four were in there, the X-Men were in there. Obviously, having the biggest stories, including like Secret Wars, actually in the Spider-Man series, and getting to see, just like you said, like Peter Parker being able to be the leader of a team. Obviously, before getting into the actual Secret Wars thing, having to have a team of Peter Parkers, like, and
the Spider-Verse before the Spider-Verse. Yeah,
it was the Spider-Verse before the Spider-Verse. And it just put Spider-Man in a whole different light than a lot of the others. At that point, listen, when they did Secret Wars, Spider-Man was the leader of a team that had Captain America, Storm, the Fantastic Four on a team. He was the leader.
Yeah, Slim is the linchpin. He's the most important character in comics. That isn't Superman.
The only one that could pull
I mean that with all my heart.
Together.
And Superman only has it because technically he's the first superhero. Other than that, it's Spider-Man.
Cat was like I trust Spider-Man. We should listen to him. Hey, listen. Yeah. Everybody listen to Spider-Man. Had it been anybody else, I feel like all the heroes that was literally they had Civil War. Damn it, Civil War was pretty much in that joint too.
Civil War in that joint. Yeah, like it's a man. I mean, look, people don't Spider-Man, for as many people who like recognize and know Spider-Man and love him as a character and whatever, like they don't really like if you don't really read the comics, like you just don't know
Yeah.
what Slim does, what he's capable of, how hard. Like I remember reading like Spider-Man sneaking into the Avengers compound and just like molly-whopping She-Hulk, just beat the brakes off Shorty, like on the cover of the joint, like. A Slim hits hard. Like, let's not. Like,
Shooting
yeah,
after this new
like
movie, like Spidey's strength about to take
it's
another
about to go.
level
It's
up.
about to go. Mhm. I think they might actually, for the first time, show how strong he actually is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's that whole run in the comics that came from a part of like Brand New Day where like he was trying to find Mary Jane. Like yeah, like he bested Cap. He was on a
Dog,
mission
he gonna fight Hulk in this.
and
Dog, and
correct. But like he has punched Hulk to the moon, but it kind of doesn't count. But that's a whole different thing. But you know, he hits hard enough. Like people don't realize it. Almost like Superman. Like he always pulls his punches.
pulls his
He
punches. Yep.
never hits as hard as he actually can because he's just afraid he's gonna kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't. But like Slim can bench press a bus. So like let's not.
They
Let's
listen.
not
They
like.
explored that. Listen, they explored that in the '90s, Joe. When multiple times, like he could lift a car, but then when he got
Yeah.
the symbiote, he was like, let me test this strength out, and literally lifted up
When he was
the whole van. Just lifted. He's like, hey, I used to have trouble lifting up a Volkswagen. Like,
Yeah. That's my guy, man. I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, look. We're gonna do some trailer watching. Put a pin in the podcast. We're gonna like give our 5 cents across the board on that. So just, for the Patreon members, y'all get ready for that. In a couple of weeks, we have Otakon coming up.
mm-hmm.
So we will be at Otakon on Friday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Skipping Saturday. We have a special thing that we got to do Saturday, so we're skipping Saturday, but we'll be there Friday. We'll be there Sunday. So if you're at Otakon, by all means, you see us out there, come holler at us, say what's up, say hi, come hang out, all of that jazz. I'm gonna say this now, like Otakon is and will continue to be a special event for us. Last year, Otakon was the last convention that we did together with Sin.
Mm-hmm.
We literally lost him we were together that Sunday, finishing up things there, and that following Friday, early Saturday morning, we lost him. So like Otakon is special and will remain special. It was also one of his favorite because he was such an anime person, and it's an anime convention. And it's right here, and it has a long history. So again, like if you see us there, please come and say what's up to us. Spend some time with us. We're gonna be out shooting a bunch of stuff and hanging out and talking to people and all that jazz. So please come hang out with us. Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little bit of a break still on wrestling, but fill me in. What's going on?
Yep. So remember, y'all, we talked about it last week. No episode of The Finisher this week. So in order for us to get things back on track the way that it should be, we will have an episode coming live next week. I think I got a little excited when we had recorded a little bit early and had an extra episode come a little bit too early. So in order for us to get back on track and stick to our normal release schedule, we won't have one this week. It's coming next week to you.
Indeed.
Not to mention SummerSlam is actually the same weekend as Otakon.
What do you want? Wrestling doesn't respect anime, but
it'll be on the
wrestlers do. There you go. Yeah, can we wrap it up?
I think we can shut it down.
All right, let's wrap it up so we can put a pin in it. I'm gonna take this one out, y'all. Do me a favor. Make sure you live your bloopers and fix it in post. With that, we're out. Toodles and loos.
Loading snacks.